We are all in an elaborate universal dance at all times. But we may not always be aware of the multitude of dance partners or the rhythm of the music. It's constant poetry in motion.
Nature actually plays an orchestra 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not only do you have the tides of the ocean, we have the sound of trees rustling in the wind. We recognize in most parts of the world the 4 seasons. All the different rain cycles and all the different dry periods. We realize that this planet itself is just one harmonious entity. And just like the human body, we are creating our blood cells and regenerating ourselves on a consistent basis. Earth is doing the same exact thing, as above, so below.
So the rhythms in nature are very clearly a reflection of cosmic cycles. And we can see that just, for example, with the day-night cycle, the Earth rotating on its axis. But we also have greater cosmic cycles of our solar system rotating around the galactic core of the Milky Way galaxy. And then you can go even further and further and further out that, there's cycles within cycles within cycles, all of which are representing some kind of a cosmic dance, a cosmic harmony.
From the macro to the micro, everything is in a rhythmic flow of change.
From the electron moving around the nucleus of an atom to planets and distant galaxies moving around their suns, they're all in a state of vibration. Whether or not we can hear that vibration is another story. They are all in a state of vibration.
The dance persists at every frequency scale of the spectrum, within and around each of us.
There's a magnetic field that emanates from this planet that underlies all existence of all living creatures. Every blade of grass, every dog, every cat, every CEO of every corporation, every leader of every nation is linked to these magnetic fields, and they have a frequency, they have a vibration that influences their ability to cooperate or their willingness for competition.
And this includes our body. Every organ, every bone, every tissue, every part of our body is in a state of vibration. It's in a state of normal, healthy resonance. And when we say we're healthy, we say we're in sound health.
To understand the mysteries of the sound behind creation, we need to first identify the patterns which underlie the rhythms of form.
Nature is based upon the replication and duplication of only a very few patterns in rhythms and cycles. One of the most foundational is the phi, or the phi ratio, 0.618 to the tip of our finger to our hand, and from the tip of our hand to our wrist, and our wrist to our elbow, from where our eyes are in relationship to our nose and our mouth and our head, our entire bodies are based upon this principle.
We can witness this principle, also called the Fibonacci sequence, everywhere around us.
It's reflected holographically throughout nature. As trees grow, the leaves or the branches will start to arrange themselves according to the Fibonacci sequence.
Patterns are also repeated in nature's union of opposites, which are demonstrated by the spirals that can move in opposite directions in the growth of a plant. A plant or a tree is not a singular or independent force. Nothing in creation operates alone. This is one of the principles that ties everything together.
You can think of all the human activity having one sound for the surface of our planet. or all the birds having one sound, right? Like all the birds chirping right now around the planet. It's a beautiful harmonic. And then you can imagine all the leaves in the trees all around the world currently just oscillating in the space because of the wind, making one sound.
Harmonia is a group mind phenomenon that the Greeks described as being of one mind together, or a union of hearts. In nature, we see schools of fish, birds, ants, bees, and many other species operating as a kind of group mind.
So you can think of different sets of information or different structure of nature as being different frequency of this oscillation of the space itself.
Ancient cultures have known of this phenomenon for centuries, but the knowledge has recently been rediscovered.
In the early 1900s, with the availability of electronic instruments, Hans Jenny, a Swiss medical doctor, began the field of kymatics. And the name kymatics comes from the Greek word kyma, meaning wave. He would put sound vibrations into different types of materials. It might be water, it might be paste of particular types. Whatever sound he fed into it, you would then see immediately form up into this beautiful mandala pattern.
Now, if you know anything about nature forms, and cymatics shows this beautifully, the study of wave phenomena and how sound will create geometric patterns that are analogs to what you find in nature. It can be the Fibonacci series, replicated in the way that the daisy will have its middle part of its head, or the sunflower. Those tend to come out in a specific sequence of arches that happen repeatedly, creating a pattern. And then Lauterwasser, Alexander Lauterwasser, who was 50 years later, he was able to create analogs of nature forms that were so precise that he could replicate the entire cell structure. You could look at that and say, that is a tortoise shell. But no, it wasn't. It was lycopodium powder configured with all the different aspects, the polygon and the one part here and the parts around the edge. The different fields replicated that nature form perfectly.
Cymatics captures some of these amazing patterns that we see in nature. But the creation of the human form is also a part of this universal phenomenon.
The ancient mystery tradition, we say man or human is the measure of all things. That we are the template, that we are the blueprint, that the tree of life, for example, is our DNA.
We share 98% of our DNA with other primates. And the question that I asked as a musician is, if I share 98% of my DNA with a chimpanzee, why have I never seen a chimpanzee sing Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven? And I haven't, and we never will. And it's because something rare and sacred and precious and mysterious happened to us 200,000 years ago when anatomically modern humans emerged into this world. There were a series of rare genetic mutations. They've never happened before and they've never happened since. We were given the ability to connect our tongue and our mouth and our jaw and our brain in a way that allows us, through our words, to connect vibration to the unseen world. No other form of life has the ability to do this, and we do it so well. We may have forgotten how precious this ability really is.
at some level, this world was created for us to have this physical experience, from the spiritual into the physical, so that we could learn and grow from it.
What we know is that vibration follows this pattern as well, and that when we choose to solve our problems, to heal our bodies in really, really meaningful ways, that the more we learn to honor and work and cooperate with these principles of nature, the faster we see the results, because we are bringing ourselves into harmony with the world around us.